Hey there, fellow travelers, Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're here in Athens, Greece, and today we're going to talk about some of the mistakes that tourists make when they come here to Athens. And I'm going to start with a vocabulary mistake that people make. So you see that hill behind me with a temple on top? Well, the hill is the Acropolis, okay? Acropolis means highest city. So that's all the stuff up there is the Acropolis. And the Parthenon is the temple at the very top. And I know some people kind of use these things interchangeably, but remember, the Acropolis is like the hill, the city on top of the hill, and the Parthenon is that thing that's on the very top, the temple up there, okay? So you know that. And I think it's important, as it being the most important sight to see when you come here, I should give you some of the mistakes people make when they go to the Acropolis. One, they don't pre-book their tickets. Look, you want to make sure you get in? Pre-book your tickets. There's times where you can go in, so you have that. So have it ready, because if you come on busy days, you can wait in line for a long time. And it's better to have your ticket already purchased. You can buy them online very easily. You just show the QR code and boom, you're in, okay? Very easy to do. Another mistake I see people make is they don't wear the right shoes when they go up to the Acropolis. And this is actually for a lot of places here in Athens. The right shoes are important. And the thing is, up in the Acropolis, it's a lot of uneven steps, okay? There's a lot of uneven stone. Also, there's a lot of marble there as well, and it can be very slick. Even if there's no rain, it'd be really, really slick. We were up there today. There was a lady who had flip-flops on. She fell not once, not twice, but 3 times walking up around there. So you want to be careful with your shoe choices when you're going up to the Acropolis and actually all around the city. Now, another mistake I think tourists make is they cheap out and don't spend the 50 cents to get a small bottle of water. Look, legally, places have to sell those small bottles of water for 50 cents. So if you're going to get dehydrated, and that's one of the reasons why tourists pass out when they're up there, they get dehydrated and they get, weak at the knees and they go down. It's the dehydration side of it. And don't make the mistake of thinking, I don't want to pay the money for water. Dude, it's literally 50 cents. That's it. Okay, so you can get those and keep yourself hydrated. Now, another mistake I think tourists make is they wait too long to go to the Acropolis. You want to go in the morning because the temperatures are usually cooler in the morning. Obviously, in the summer, it's especially better. Also, how the shadows fall on your way up. It's just a lot more comfortable going up to the Acropolis and up to the top during the morning time than the afternoon. And if you're here during a heat wave, sometimes they actually close it from like noon to 5:30. And so you can't even go during that time of the day. So going in the morning is your best bet to go. Now, another mistake tourists make when they come here is they don't do the Acropolis Museum in the right order. Now, the Acropolis Museum is actually right next to me, okay? And in there, it will tell you all about the Acropolis. It'll tell you all about the Parthenon. It'll give you the history. It'll give you so much. It's so informative that when you go up to the Acropolis, you go to the Parthenon up there, it really comes more alive. Like, you truly understand it better. Whereas if you go up there first and then go to the museum, it's like, oh, I wish I would have done that. Oh, I wish I would have spent more time with the Caryatids. Like, that would have meant more to me because now I understand how important they were. And that's going to help. So make sure you do that. And knowing that order of seeing the Acropolis Museum first to really understand it and then going to see the Acropolis, that's going to help out. And that kind of gives me another mistake I see people make is they don't really kind of plan out their visit to Athens enough beforehand because it's a big city. There's a lot of stuff you can see and do when you're here. And it's probably better to kind of plan things together because if you're here in the summer, heat and sun, it can be very draining. So what you want to do is maybe do things together. Like, okay, we're going to do Monasteriki and Plaka. We're going to walk around there and see those things. And then we're going to do the Acropolis. And then we'll go over to the Temple of Zeus on another day. And you kind of get those things kind of together to make it easier for you. And the thing is, you have to realize is a mistake people make is thinking that Athens is just the Acropolis and the museum here or just the Plaka. No, there are other neighborhoods you can go to. There's a northern suburbs, a southern suburbs. You go to Piraeus, where the port is, and you can see the stuff there. I mean, there's so many more things than just this kind of old historic part that people kind of stick in and just stay in. So you can explore more. And that's what's cool is you can actually use the metro to help you out. And I think that's a mistake some tourists make because the metro can be a mistake 2 ways. One, tourists don't use it to help them get places. Like the Acropolis has its own stop right over here. Monasteriki has its own stop. You have that. So you can use it to your advantage, especially if you want to go to the airport or if you want to get, go out to some of the farther places outside the center. That can be helpful. But honestly, another mistake with the metro is really thinking it's going to be super helpful. It's helpful in specific situations, not getting you everywhere around the city. Now, for a lot of travelers, they fly into Athens and then they rent their car and explore Greece. That's great. But a mistake that some tourists make when they come to Athens is they rent their car for Greece when they get in here and then they drive into Athens for a couple of days here and then go explore. Don't do that. What you should do is come explore Athens, then go get your car and drive out of the city. Or what we do is we rent our car from Athens at the airport when we fly in, go explore the Peloponnese and other parts of Greece. Then we come back, drop off the car, and have absolutely nothing to do with driving and parking here in Athens because you don't want to deal with it. It's horrible, okay? So don't make the mistake of driving here in Athens. And for other things that kind of don't make much sense is, honestly, you might make the mistake of thinking it'll be easy to find your ferry when you go to Piraeus, the port. I will say this. Make sure you know where you need to go so you're going to get on the right boat so you can get to the right island when you go around. It pays to have a little bit of pre-knowledge about that. So when you get your ferry tickets, make sure you really pay attention where you need to go, where your boarding is, when your boarding is, because some tourists end up missing their ferry because they're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Now, some other little things you should know when you're going to be here in Athens is, one, don't make the mistake of not having small bills. It could be when you're taking a taxi around town, they don't have change for you, so you need that. But just grabbing an ice cream, grabbing some of the water, 50-cent waters kind of things, not having the small bills can be a problem because, yes, you can pay with your credit card most everywhere, but just for the speed and the convenience, always have small bills with you when you're here. And honestly, I mean, it's such an affordable city to really enjoy that having the small bills really can't pay for a lot of the stuff when you are here. Now, one of the things I really enjoy about Athens is actually getting to meet some of the locals and talk to the locals. And I think that's a mistake that some tourists make is they don't engage with the locals here in Athens. But you have to realize Athens has some of the highest level of English speakers in the entire country of Greece, and Greece is really good at speaking English. So if you take the time to talk to your waiter, talk to your bartender, talk to your receptionist, or talk to the concierge of your hotel, I mean, they're going to have a good time. They're going to talk to you, and you're going to learn so much more about the city, about the area, where to eat, that you don't just have to eat at Monastiraki and the Plaka part. No, you can go all over. And that's one of the great things about the locals here is they're very helpful. And that's why I say, don't just stay in the center. Go explore more out in the suburbs to give you a better chance to talk to the locals there because they're like, wait, you're a tourist and you're not just eating in Plaka and Monastiraki? No, you're exploring. And that's going to get them to want to engage more with you. And that's why don't make the mistake of not knowing at least two words when you come here. One, yasis, which is hello, and efcharisto, which is thank you. Those two will go a long way to make them happy and be even more open to talking to you. And then they'll probably teach you a few more Greek words and maybe some bad words too. But at least you're making progress and making friends when you're here in Athens. Now, another mistake I think tourists make is when they think of Athens, they think, oh, it's Greece. It's a summer destination. That's it. Well, I'm going to tell you, if you want to come to Greece in the wintertime, Athens is the best destination because it really is a destination all year round because the sights you can see are not dependent on a beach or the sun. You have fantastic museums here, the Archaeological Museum, and all the national museums that are around the city, the Acropolis Museum, going to the Acropolis, seeing all the temples, seeing the ruins, Temple of Zeus. There's so many things to do when you're here that you can really enjoy them all year long. So it doesn't have to just be a summer visit to Greece. You can do it any time of the year here in Athens. Whereas the islands, yeah, some of the islands really are completely dead during the wintertime or even the late fall, so do be aware of that. Now, when you are eating, and you'll notice you'll be eating on stairs, you'll be eating on the sides of the streets, you'll be eating all over the place when you're here because there's so much good food here. That's not a mistake. You're going to eat well when you're here. Don't worry about that. But I think for a safety thing, one of the mistakes I see tourists make is they leave their phone on top of their table. The thing is, Athens is very safe. Like, I'm not really worried about Athens, but I have seen the phones on top of tables that kind of disappear because people walk by. You don't notice because there's so many people walking by, especially if you're eating in some of the more touristy parts of town. So do be aware of that one. Also, I would say this, the taxis here, they can be fun. We've had some amazing taxi drivers over here. Funny as can be. But there are the usual taxi kind of snafus you want to pay attention to and make sure they start the meter going and, have a discussion about what the price a roundabout may be and then have to do the flag fall so you have that. Another mistake I think tourists make when they come to Athens, they think that the restaurants are trying to scam them because they'll come with a bottle of water and put it on the table. They'll ask you, oh, would you like bread? And you say yes. And then you don't realize that you do have to pay for that water and you do have to pay for that bread. And it's only a couple euros or less. I mean, it's not really that much, but some tourists feel like they're scamming them because they don't realize they have to pay or they don't tell them right away. So don't think it's a scam. Don't make that mistake. Just realize that, hey, you're going to need that water anyway, so get the water, pay for it. The bread, if you don't want it, you can just say no thank you. They won't bring it, so you won't get charged. Now, coming to Greece, one of the things that usually shows up in the news feeds are strikes and protests. And I think it's a mistake when people think, oh, the strikes and protests are going to ruin my vacation. They're going to close down everything I want to see. It's not worth going to Greece. It's not worth going to Athens because blah, blah, blah. look, those things are not targeting tourists because they know tourism brings in a lot of money for the locals here. So they're not targeting tourism. It might hurt the metro and you're getting out to the airport, but don't think the protests and things are going to ruin your trip, because then it's not happening here at the Acropolis. Okay, it's not happening where you're going to be. So don't worry about that. And I know those protests also make people make another mistake, and they skip out on seeing the change of the guard. It's a really cool experience to see that change of the guard. It's not like the change of the guard in England and London where they have that. It's a very different one, but it's something you should see when you're here. Now, moving back to our Acropolis issues, I want to tell you this. Don't make the mistake of thinking that having that great view doesn't come with a price. If you're going to eat at a restaurant and it has a beautiful view of the Acropolis and the Parthenon on top, it's probably going to be a little bit pricier. I mean, you'll see there's some like restaurants that are on the stairs, and the ones that have those straight views on the Acropolis and the Parthenon, they might be a little bit more than the street two streets over that has the same kind of steps, but you don't see it. So maybe compare and contrast the prices. The food's going to be good anywhere you go, but I know that's a mistake that some tourists make, that they have to have the Acropolis view, which is awesome. But sometimes if you want to save a little money, maybe go a couple of streets over. You still have that beautiful steps and all kinds of stuff, but it can save you a little bit of a few euros or two for your next euro. Now, a slightly different cultural mistake you might make when you come here is when you go into the Acropolis, you'll notice there's the Odeon there. There's actually a theater that has productions to this day you can go see. And pretty famous artists actually perform there. So I think it's a mistake of not seeing who's playing when you're coming to Athens, because you can actually get tickets and actually go to a concert inside the Odeon. I mean, it's really, really cool. And that leads into another mistake tourists make when they're coming to Athens is they're not doing enough research before they come. I mean, Athens has become super popular, especially with the TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Hello, I'm here too. You know, like this is one of those places people love to come. But since we can only get so much in a 15-minute video or a 30-second video, it's only the highlights that get really highlighted. And what you need to do is really do research before you come here to understand all the stuff you're going to see. Because when you turn a corner and like, oh, there's Hadrian's Arch. Oh, there's the Tower of the Winds. Oh, there's the Temple of Zeus. And you know the background. It can really make it a much more like impactful visit, a much more educational visit. You get a lot more out of all the ruins and stones you see. It really does so much more for your visit. So do more of that research. Pick up the National Geographic Greece and learn about that history. Learn about the sites more. That will bring a lot more out of your kind of Athens vacation. And the thing is, Athens is a cool city. You gotta enjoy it. And I think that's a mistake that tourists make, is they don't spend enough time when they come to Athens. They kind of use it as a layover, a stopover to go to the Peloponnese, or more likely going to the islands. And you can see a lot of stuff when you're here, and you can do a lot of great day trips from here too. Some of the day trips are a little bit farther, but a lot of them you can do in tours. I mean, you can go see the Oracle of Delphi. You can go there. You can go to Mycenae, UNESCO World Heritage Site. Yeah, you can go there. Nafplio, the first capital. It's like a 2-hour bus ride. You can get there and enjoy. You rent a car to see things around here. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can do near here, so it's not just making a mistake of only seeing Athens or skipping out on Athens. It's kind of like a combination of the two, of not taking advantage of the opportunities you have here in Athens, okay? And kind of going on from exploring outside of Athens, I think another important kind of mistake tourists make is they use the ferry. You know, you go to Piraeus, you take the ferries to the islands. And you can do day trips to some of the islands too, so don't miss out on that. That's a mistake not to see some islands if you're here. But I think the mistake is people think that the ferries are the only way to get to all the islands. And what you have to realize, from the airport, you can fly to some of the islands, and you might want to kind of judge, is it worth 7 hours of my time on a ferry or a 30-minute flight? Or an overnight ferry versus a 45-minute flight? So that might be something you want to kind of look into. Because honestly, I realize people use Athens for a lot of different things, whether it's for fun, for history, for a gateway to the rest of Greece or to the islands. But honestly, don't make the mistake of not coming to Athens, because this city is a wonderful place to visit with the food, the history, the sites that are here. You'll enjoy your time here. So let us know, what are some mistakes you see tourists make when they come here to Athens? And honestly, if you want more, our Don'ts of Visiting Athens video has a lot more stuff on there to help you out. And this video is just to help you view some of those little mistakes that might make a difference if you don't make them when you're here. Anyway, I wish you all the best. I'll say bye from here in Athens.